We're hearing that the Bulls are focused on trading, yes, Zach LaVine, who incredibly, Zach LaVine, if you guys haven't been paying attention, he's actually been quite solid since he's came back from injury. He's played so far 6 games for the Chicago Bulls since returning from injury. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, he's been amazing. But the last 6 games since he's came back from injury, he has averaged 17.6 and a half rebounds, 6 assists. And he's actually shooting 50% from the field and 50% from three. He's playing really efficient. Like, he's showing that he can kind of be a role guy. And over these games, I think it hasn't been perfect, but they're ninth in the East. And what we're hearing that the Bulls, regardless of Zach LaVine and this team looking good, Joe Cowley of Chicago Sun-Times says that the Bulls executive vice president, Arthur Karnisovas, continues to be focused on first trying to unload Zach LaVine and reload this roster on the fly. I'm going to be quite honest. The easiest way to unload this roster, there's doing a deal with the Wizards. Now, the Wizards are probably going to try to get rid of Jordan Poole, which I don't think is going to be possible. But I'm a Wizards fan. And you have to think that maybe a Tyus Jones. So you got to do, it's $40 million we would need to work out. But let's say a team like Washington, who's just tanking, and maybe Portland is another one. But Washington, the easiest way would be Jordan Poole and Tyus Jones. But I think Chicago would be like, we're good. The next deal would be Kyle Kuzma, Tyus Jones, and 3 first-round picks. The third deal, Tyus Jones, Daniel Gafford, Landry Shamet, DeLon Wright for Zach LaVine, and maybe we'll take like DeSumo or something. Now, a team like Portland, and that's just trying to get rid of the contract. There's probably so many other things. Portland's the easier one in my opinion. Malcolm Brogdon, Matisse Thybulle, and maybe I think technically I think they could eat the 8 million, right? Could they eat the 8 million? I don't know if they can, but if they can't, maybe it is a Jeremy Grant and Matisse Thybulle. What do you guys think? Let me hear your thoughts. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts. So first off, Zach LaVine and his camp wants a Lakers move. Allegedly, Joe Cowley of Chicago Sun-Times says the Bulls have been linked to the Lakers and Raptors in the rumor mill, but multiple sources say LaVine and his representation, which is Clutch Sports, obviously wants Los Angeles Lakers because of the Clutch Sports connection. The Lakers who are eligible to move Friday include Jackson Hayes, Taurean Prince, Cam Reddish, D'Angelo Russell, Gabe Vincent, Christian Wood. And those are like half those guys are Clutch Sports guys. But besides that, we're hearing from Joe Cowley that there is a fine line between patience and concern. The Bulls front office has to straddle that line. According to sources Wednesday, that many of the players who signed contracts during the summer are trade eligible now beginning Friday. And that the problem is that Executive Vice President Karnisovas is finding no real trade market interest for LaVine. And that makes sense. The contract, it's the same situation Bradley Beal was in. So the current situation with Zach LaVine is that he's out for like a month at least, until January 15th with right foot inflammation. And his trade market continues to swirl in the toilet. And that Zach LaVine would like a trade to the Los Angeles Clippers. He's represented by Clutch Sports, and that agency, obviously represents current Lakers like LeBron and Anthony Davis. LaVine also played college ball at UCLA. The LA Lakers obviously would like to wait until January 15th to see, what their team looks like healthy, to see what the other offers for LaVine might be, as well as when all the trade restrictions for every team has been lifted, especially other players that the Lakers ever signed this past season, off-season. Those players would be needed to make the trade work, both from value and a salary matching standpoint. And we know that the Bulls right now are reported would like to prefer to trade Zach LaVine sooner rather than later, and Chicago does want enough time to reevaluate their team with the players they get back for LaVine before making any further moves. Reportedly, Karnisovas is set on moving on from Zach LaVine, despite the fact that a market for LaVine has not developed yet. The relationship between LaVine and Chicago head coach Billy Donovan is professionally broken, and making a trade is necessary moving forward. The NBA trade market is unofficially open December 15th, which is tomorrow. That's when many players who signed contracts this summer are eligible to be traded. Now January 15th is when the next trade eligibility marker is expanded for other players who resigned with their teams become trade eligible. So that would give the Bulls a window of where they could potentially move players post, LaVine, as everything comes together. Now, it's understandable that they're slow playing this because I think, I think they don't want to put themselves in a position where they feel like they maybe overasserted themselves or overstretched themselves, whatever you want to call it. But they're definitely trying to figure it out, slow rolling it, which I think is the right thing to do, and understanding where they can get their best value for Zach LaVine, which I think at this point is probably going to be Chicago. I mean, not Chicago, LA, but I mean, that's definitely up to, I think, interpretation and speculation. But I wonder what it is, because the deal's clearly going to be like Gabe Vincent, Rui Hachimura, and D'Angelo Russell, maybe a pick. But I feel like that might be an overpay, and that's one thing that could, I don't know. I definitely think it's a strange situation and one that needs to be cleared up, and hopefully they can fix it. Seriously, hopefully they can.